like, I could see Anna, so I was like, I'm gonna boogie.
I'm all back here doing the wave and the worm with my arm. It's just such a good, lively, like, start to the show. I love it. It just gets me pumped, ready to go. So,
well, good morning, Anna.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. We're super excited to be here. We got a good show going on.
Yes. So, Anna.
Yes.
Let's talk about real fast because we've been talking about this. I absolutely loved our last week's guest. Like, Erin was amazing. And and again, if I could just have like maybe a t-shirt from him that says like, you're going to be okay, Selena. Like, you know what I mean? Like that, I would wear it. I would wear it. So Erin, I know you're not on social media, but if your wife is listening to this, let's talk about some merchandising things. Good. I would be the first one in line to buy a t-shirt.
It just says, Erin says you're going to be all right. So yeah, honestly, this was my favorite thing that Erin said. You're not broken. There's just healing to be had. So if you missed last week's show, it's all about just like mental health. And we tied it into business, but really it ended up being applicable to anyone, anywhere, doing anything. And this was really his message, was just, if mental health issues don't mean you're broken, it just means there's healing, and you need to find how that's going to happen for you. So yes, loved Erin's show last week. So absolutely go watch it if you get a chance.
Yes.
So yeah.
Absolutely. And I wait, one more thing. I did have many people call me or message me and say that was actually one of my favorite shows. So, I mean, obviously, like Anna just said, I think there's a need, and it's okay to talk about it so that you can be okay. Like, and if you're not okay, then that's when you seek out, seek out.
Well, whatever it is that you need, right? Whether it be a therapist or a friend to talk to, or some self-care time, or whatever it is, super important. I will say, however, I did go on and search for our 15-minute coffee chat to see how many of our viewers actually self-cared this past week, and apparently none of y'all had anything to do with yourselves. And if you did not tag us in it. So if you went to the spa or got a massage or had your hair done or took a bath, we didn't get any notifications.
This week. Maybe, Anna, let's make it easier for them. What should we do? How should we make this easier?
Well, I think that we should do a new hashtag, because maybe 15-ish minute coffee chat is just too many words to write.
Right.
So we came up with this.
Yeah.
Hashtag 15-ish MCC. Like, I feel like it's like, I feel like I need to go yo at the end of that, right? Right? Hashtag 15-ish MCC.
There.
Yo, right there.
Right there.
Watching it. Yeah, right there. So anyway, this week we would love to see a coffee chat selfie. If you take one when anytime during the show, and tag us with our new hashtag.
Yes.
I'm going to be searching for it. I'm going to put y'all, on the spot here. I'm going to be like, start private messaging people, be like, I know, I saw you watching.
I saw you. For third time after the show, we are going to just start stalking all of our friends. Okay, moving on real fast. We're going to mention this because, again, me and Anna love to just make ourselves so flippin' busy.
It's so busy.
But we're kind of excited. We are part of this like really great organization for mill spouses and entrepreneurs, and it's AMC. And I laugh because I have to write it out. I always forget how to say it. Anna, it is
Association of Military Spouse Entrepreneurs.
Yeah. We're good with acronyms anyway. So
you've got like 50% of the words on your slide.
But I'm like, what's happening? I'm excited about it. I know Anna is. I'm going to just drop it in I'm going to just drop the link in our comments. So that way, if you guys want to join or check it out in your male spouses, I was kind of excited because this week I had a couple people on Instagram chatting to me about it. So there's a need. Yay.
Yeah. And so if you're in the Fort Hood area specifically and a military spouse, join our chapter. We've got our first one. We're getting it all lined up for the end of August. Our first one's going to be virtual because, COVID and all that crazy stuff. But we do have a location we're talking to now that has some good social distancing aspects. So it's not going to stay virtual forever. So if you hate virtual and you really need a meetup, join our chapter so you can get in right from the start.
Yes, for sure. And we, you know what, Anna, we just found out that we have already like 8, I believe, that have signed up for the Fort Hood area. So we're kind of excited to meet those 8 ladies. So
yes, we sure are.
Whichever.
I just have to say this. So this is one of the responses. John says, my self-care is watching your show. Aw, that's like one of those hearts. I love that.
Oh my God. Okay, I feel like let's talk about this amazing guest that we have on today.
Oh my gosh, our fiery ginger from Virginia. That's what I'm going to call her.
I'm excited because I had my moment with Jenna, and like it's kind of sealed. It's sealed. Like I just don't think she'll ever drop me. I mean, meaning like if she tried to drop me, I would still latch on. Like I would be like, hey, let me go.
Like, that's not happening. Yeah, so our coffee chat today with Jenna is really going to be all about advocacy and being a business owner and kind of how the two things tie together when you're passionate about stuff. So we're super excited about that.
Yeah.
And we're going to do Jenna's bio, but we want to make sure that you guys remember that right after the bio is when we do our coffee chat selfie. And so pose for your picture with us and our new hashtag 15ish MCC. Yo.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so Selena is going to introduce Jenna. Here we go.
Okay, Jenna. Jenna grew up in a musical family and is an accomplished pianist. I'm going to say it that they know. Jenna knows. Don't correct me. I know how to say it. We didn't like how I said it yesterday. Okay. Despite her love of the arts, Jenna's educational path led to her social work and advocacy. She met and married her husband, Jason, who we also adore, a violinist and teacher. They reside in Virginia with their 5 children and 2 puppies. Oh, look, there's one of them. Jenna and Jason own Day Violins, the premier string shop in Northern Virginia. The Day Violins motto is talent is universal, opportunity is not. Jenna works with underprivileged populations and through Day Violins works to provide every child an opportunity to have music in their lives. This is so important. Jenna is a strong advocate for music education in schools and a volunteer with Instruments in the Attic, which delivers refurbished instruments to children around the world. She serves on the board of DC Strings Workshop, which provides music to the neighborhoods in the Washington, D.C. area that might not normally have access to concerts and lessons. Like, what does this lady not do? What else do you not do? I mean, actually, there's more that she does, but we're not even talking about that today.
Yeah. We're only focusing on advocacy, and she's amazing. So let's bring Jenna in. Let's meet her. Let's
ready.
There she is. Hi,
Jenna. Hi, everybody.
Jenna, everybody.
There she is. We're so excited to have you on the show today, Jenna. We, and listen, I just realized as we were reading your bio that, and actually your mother caught it too. I'm just going to post this up here. Jenna only has 4 children, not 5 children.
Let's just say 4 biological children. I have way more than 4 children. I had 2 of them over for dinner last night. I accept all children.
So apologies for that. I did not catch that last night. I do know your children.
Were you counting my husband as a child?
Possibly. It was the dog. It's the extra dog you guys just got.
We also adopt children and dogs. Right? Birds. We have birds. So
well, and your dad lives with you, so we're gonna count. Grandpa Johnny is gonna be child number 5 today.
Yeah. We'll take them all. We'll take them all in.
Yeah. Oh my God. I was like in my head, like, wait, I'm trying to imagine all those family pictures. Like, but I'm like, I'm not going to question because I don't trust my, you know what I mean?
Next question, because I was totally off base with that one. Totally wrong. I'm so sorry.
Okay. Hashtag auntie of the year.
Right? So bad.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, now that we got that out of the way, children only people.
What?
No, yeah, 4 children only. That's all. And now we're going to go into the coffee cup selfie.
Yeah, 4 children only. We're going to do our coffee cup selfie with Jenna. We always start with this, and then we start our timer so we can totally blow the 15 minutes that we say we're going to only be on.
Yeah.
All right, everybody, got your cup?
Okay, on 3, guys. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Okay. Awesome. Thank you. Hope you all did that.
Side hippie mama.
I love it. I love
it. So fun. Such a fun cup.
Totally me. Totally.
I love what Jenna, when we were talking to Jenna backstage about what's in it. Maybe she'll tell you what's in it through the show. We don't know. It's totally her, because I would call it that. That's what I would call it.
Let's just say there are health benefits to what I drink.
Yeah.
My Satan juice.
Yes, there it is, guys.
I'm just going to caveat this just for anyone watching. There's no, yeah. We do have to caveat. There is no alcohol in Satan's juice.
No,
truly, there's not.
A blend of vegetables and herbs that most people wouldn't choose to drink.
Yeah. I'll tell you what. I'm going to
make your hair red.
Yes. That's all you can handle. This is my not today Satan juice. So that'll be a theme. Yeah. See, you guys, there it is.
Yes.
Okay. Let's wait. I just want to say hi. This is our past guest, Jennifer. Yay! I don't want to come to Hood, but I want to come to Hood. I hear you, girl.
You need to come.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Okay, well let's hop on in.
Yeah, we're gonna introduce today's topic really quick, and we're gonna set our timer. So our topic today is advocacy. What do you fight for? And Jenna is an excellent guest to have on for this, because if there's someone that I know that is passionate about what she does and who she does it for, it is going to be this woman right here, our guest today.
Yes.
So, Selena, you got our 15-minute timer?
Yeah, sure do. There it is.
And there it is.
Starting, people. Let's see how we do today.
All right. So we always, of course, before we introduce our topic, and then we do something totally different, which is to tell everybody about our toolkit for the day. So just to kind of like preview our toolkit, we picked this toolkit because, like we mentioned earlier, Jenna is totally diverse. So advocacy is just one of many things she does, but her title with her company is creative director. And so we chose this toolkit, which is coolers.co.
Yes.
Not colors, coolers, COOLERS.
Sorry, yeah, it's actually not an E. That's my bad.
Yeah, but this is a color palette generator, and basically what it does is it shows you complementary or not complement. It gives you a whole bunch of options, but generates a color palette for you if you're looking for things for branding purposes, decorating purposes, social media posts, and you need a complementary color for like your text. I mean, whatever it might be that you're looking for, this is an amazing toolkit for you to be aware of.
No, so it's easy and it's free. I think we all like that. You know what I mean? But I think Anna actually has it set up. So why don't we show? We're gonna play a little thing with Jenna. We're gonna have her work with Anna on how the site works, really. So I'm gonna put that out, and I'm gonna put Anna's thing in.
Okay.
There we go. Perfect.
So here is the is the thing. Here's
Did you find that? The green with her green, Anna? That was very.
Wait a second. That's not it.
What? I love green.
I know. Let's just start it. Who cares? Let's do it. Let's lock it in.
All right. So here we are. But this is okay. So all you do is you hit the space bar, and it generates a whole new set of color palettes for you. So you can just go through. So Jenna, when you see something you love, holler loudly.
I love the first one.
This dark purple?
No, the first one, the 9 green. Why do you think they wear 9 green?
Oh.
Yeah. Ooh, I like that. I like that.
This one?
Yeah,
all of them, or choose one or two?
Number 95E06C.
Okay, so you can go in and you toggle lock this color, And then when you hit the space bar, it starts pulling up other options for you so you can see different color palettes that still go with the color that you love.
Right.
So there's the bright ones. They're going to do some more muted ones with darker colors, browns. And basically, the more you go through, if you say, oh, I love this cadet blue also, now you've got this green.
Look, it's got the violin browns in the back, the lime green.
Yeah. And then you just
yes. Okay.
Like,
sorry.
look at how pretty that is.
That one's pretty.
Yeah.
They also have options where you can upload an image. So we're going to upload just really quick an image of Selena and I at the beach.
Yeah.
Right here.
I'll show you the different options and how it works with this one.
Yes. So when you upload an image that you love that has a color that you really love in it, it just takes a little bit of time to upload here apparently. Okay, so this right here, this first color is tagging something in here. So if we really like my pink hat, you can toggle this button around until you pick the color you like, the pink. Then you click on the second color, choose the second color, and so on and so forth. And you can essentially come up with a color palette that you're using in this picture in particular. And there's your color palette right there from this photo.
And then when you hit that next, I believe it lets you export it, correct?
Yes, it lets you export it. But see, so you can copy, you can do all of these export options.
Right.
Yes. So there's ton. Anyway, it's a really fun one. You should go in and play around with it a little bit because it is, it's super fun to like just play around and kind of come up with some good decorating ideas. And since Jenna's title is also creative director, we thought that was a very appropriate toolkit to go with it. So here it is, coolers.co. Create a color palette that works for you.
Wait, see, it is, that's on that. It is COOLORS.
Yeah, ORS.
Yeah. I spelled it wrong and I gave the wrong word to Anna and now Anna, we got it in the banner. No worries, guys.
Oh, that's wrong. Okay.
This is our Monday morning, you guys. Oh my gosh. Okay.
COOLORS.co.
Popping it. So anyway, Jenna, we wanted to share that with you just because if you're creating graphics for your business, if you're creating graphics for your advocacy work and you just want something different and it's just fun to just kind of let this help you kind of guide you. And some others, like when you do pop in a photo, it will pull a photo, like the colors out, but I kind of liked how this one allowed you to just kind of go around the photo and have a picture that you like. Wait, real fast, I am going to just put this up. So in case you don't know when you're branding, usually this is what here is called a hex code. And this will assure you that the color you're looking at will kind of be on whatever you're trying to do with your branding logo, with your graphic color. Because, sure, you can try to pick a shade that looks close to it, but we all know sometimes you'll see variations. So this one gives you always know to grab your hex code for your colors.
I just want you to notice that Selena's back wall is the dark brown, the dark blue. Yes. My shirt is the green. Anna's shirt is the red. We've got the gray going on, and we've got that kind of brownie color in Selena's shirt.
How did that happen?
Yeah, that's weird, isn't it?
It's called creative, like, awesomeness. Yeah.
Without even trying it, we matched our palette.
This is why we are so awesome.
Yes, we are. Yes,
that really was random, by the way. Really was.
Very random. All right. Okay. Well, let's move on.
Yeah, we're ready to jump into our show at this point. Let's do it.
Jenna's like, wait, are we not in the show already? Like, what do you mean?
But we're ready to talk about the main event, which is advocacy.
Yes, that is the reason. Okay, we're bringing in question one. We're just going to go right into it. Jenna.
Yeah, we're going to jump right into it.
Yeah. All right.
So today we did something a little bit fun because there is nobody that we love more that, really makes a point, but in a fun, playful, silly way than Dr. Seuss, right? So this first question is, our Dr. Seuss quote is, unless someone like you cares a whole awful lot, nothing is going to get better. It's not. So our first question really comes down to, what does it mean to be an advocate or to be an advocate or advocacy just in general? So Jenna, that's my question to you. How would you define advocacy?
So advocacy, first of all, you have to believe in something enough to want to do something about it. And advocacy is going out, getting outside of your comfort zone and either talking to people, doing outreach, educating, speaking, writing, performing, or whatever it may be, to prove that point, to educate people about why this subject is important to you. You can either go to like your local leaders, your state leaders, your national leaders. You can go to your administrator. You can go to the secretaries. You can go to your management staff. You can go to anybody, and you can talk about something that is very important to either you or the company or the community even. Advocacy is what you do. It's the act of actually doing all of those things.
Yeah. Exactly. Yes. Perfect. That's a great definition. Yeah. When Selena and I started having a conversation about this, we were like, holy cow, we really could go a million different directions with this, right? I mean, there is social advocacy, there is personal advocacy, there is business advocacy, which really is about your branding and the image and what your business is supporting and getting people to support you. And there's personal advocate. I mean, there are so many different directions of this. So tell us a little bit more about what you do and how you, I mean, I guess defining yourself as an advocate and the area that you've chosen to jump into this arena.
Okay, it's a long story, but short version. First of all, the biggest thing you have to remember about advocacy is kind of stay in your lane. Like you said, there are so many ways to advocate that you could get lost. You could just like travel the road. You could travel the whole entire world forever. So stay in your lane. If there's like for my business, which is music, I actually started out as a social worker. I have a degree in gerontology and social work, and I was a child protective service worker. And I also worked a lot with the gerontological age group of people. I saw how music helped them, but I also grew up in a musical family. So all of those different experiences that I had brought together the passion that I have now for what my husband and I do. We started the business literally from our kitchen table. And from there, I realized how important music was and is. So really the biggest thing is you need to stay in your lane. You need to make sure that you stay in your lane, make sure that whatever you're advocating for, like I can definitely advocate for music education and get veered off into all sorts of other kind of crazy different things, but stay in your lane. Always stay in your lane.
Got it. So maybe like define a goal when you're choosing something to advocate for, like really kind of define what the thing is that you want to happen. Is that kind of what you're saying when you say stay in your lane? Because I know you can go many different directions, but there's a lot of avenues to reach one purpose, I guess.
Yeah. So the way I started with music advocacy is back when my children were small, they were going to cut the strings program. They were going to cut the music programs in our schools. And my two sons and I made posters and we stood outside the library. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is part of a bigger picture. And there's a little picture of Garrett, who's like 6. And he says, music is my life. Oh. And at the time, music wasn't even it wasn't his life, but it is, like the power of the music. And I realized at that point that in order for our business to grow, I also needed to understand the community that we live in. Why is music important to me? But why is it important to my community? Why is it important to my clients? Why is it important to the people that I'm around? Why is it important to the students that we work with? And that started the focus that I had. And I remember the first time that I went up on Capitol Hill, I was with the NAM Foundation, which is an amazing organization, absolutely amazing. I am so grateful for all the help that they've given me with advocacy and teaching me everything that I need to know. So they started talking about ESSA and they started talking about the bills and Title I's and they started talking about all these words. And I was like, yeah, I don't think I can do this. Literally, I was like a deer in the headlights. And so here I'm like marching up on Capitol Hill in my little high heels. And I was like, I don't even know what I'm doing. But I did smile. But yet when I got there, I realized that these people up on Capitol Hill are human also. They also were affected by music. When I started talking about music, they were like, oh, wait a second. I played in 4th grade. I played the guitar. I played the piano. Or what? So immediately we had that connection. Immediately there was a connection with these people that work and live up on Capitol Hill, but then also all the way back into the community because they also live in my community because where I live is right by Capitol Hill. So it brought it like full circle with how important it was to just figure out where the exact passion was. But really, it comes down to community, self and community, and then going out to your bigger world.
Yeah.
Right. I'm going to just jump in here. Michael, our other past guest, he advocates for the restaurant industry back home in Hawaii. So thank you, Michael. Well said.
Yeah,
Awesome.
very well said.
Yeah.
And Jenna, I love that you made a really good point, I think, when you were talking about this. When you got up on Capitol Hill and you started talking about your passion, you made a connection with other people. And I think that that's such an important point when it comes to advocacy, that part of you getting your message across is making sure that you connect with them. They may not have ever played an instrument, so how can you relate this to something that they can understand?
Right.
Like the importance of what this is to you versus something that they know and they feel passionate about, maybe even. So anyway, I thought that was really awesome.
And most people, the good thing about music education is that most people have had an experience with music. They've had a positive experience with music, whether it's a great song on the radio, a song that their mother sang to them, a song that they played by themselves or heard or whatever, or at the first concert they went to, or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Most people have had a positive experience with music. So it makes it very easy for our business to be able to go out and then advocate for it, even though it's one of the first things that gets cut.
Yeah. Right. Anna and I did talk about that. And, you know, my daughter, she's in band, right? And when you research, like, you know, I know our topic is about advocacy, but I just want to touch on music and how important it is. And when I was looking for why music is important, especially for our children, you know, it talked about how music is a great social skill and it helps them, you know, learning to be on a team. You know, and then there's all the cognitive stuff, right? Of just developing all these things. And it does make me sad that that's not an investment that we instantly drop when the budget is that tight. You know what I mean? Because it has a longer term effect for our kids.
And right now, especially right now with the world that we're living in, music is critical for your social and emotional healing.
Yes.
Children desperately need that social emotional healing that they need to have to be able to continue on and have a good mental state. And music is going to be the answer for a lot of those issues that children are having, whether it be that they actually play the instrument or listen to the music or whatever. What? We're already done?
Yeah, no, we're not done.
Too bad I'm not done. I am not done.
I'm going to just share this on like a very sensitive note. You know, music, it triggers so many things for me. And so, you know, one is like, there's a song that when my grandfather passed away, my cousin had, you know, he's a grown fireman in California. And, you know, when we were there, like at the time of his passing, that song, it's from Israel Kamakon Viva Ole, that came on, and it just made him think of our grandfather. So my cousin starts to cry, I start to cry, and so literally every time, and now it's been a couple of years, like 7-8 years since passing, every time that song comes on, all our family instantly thinks of, you know, it's like, that's what music does to you, right? It takes you on a memory journey sometimes of. And so it's just nice. And so we always think like when that particular song comes on at really random moments, it's like, oh, there's grandpa. Like, you know, he's tapping in to say hello, you know.
The thing is also is it not just brings you back to your memory.
Yeah.
It brings you together as a family. It brings you together on so many levels, on an emotional level, on a spiritual level, on a physical level, on a, like so many different levels. That's how powerful music is.
Yeah.
And so before we move to the next question, you know, Anna and I, like I said, we always have a strategy session, and sometimes I'm like, I explain more, Anna, like I need to understand more to understand this thing, right? And so we were just talking about advocate even for ourselves, like, you know, and how can this relate, right? And so Jenna had mentioned from the very beginning, it started kind of like, I want to advocate for my child, and, you know, and then it grew. And I believe that's how sometimes advocacy, like the bigger advocacy part of if that's something you want to bring into your business starts, right? Like, you know, Anna mentioned yesterday, she's like, you know, we should advocate for ourselves in business, right? And is saying, hey, take care of ourselves. Leave us a review. Do all these things, right, Anna? I mean, I'll let you just say that part because you're.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's basically called branding advocacy. And really what it's about is believing that you have something of value that you're offering to people. Mm-hmm. And Jenna, your advocacy with music ties directly back to your business. Mm-hmm. And your business is one way that people can have music in their lives. And so just correlating the whole idea of advocacy back into the business world, when you're advocating that you have something of value and you're pushing customers to leave reviews, at some point, if they are repeat customers, if they love your product and they do leave you these positive reviews, what you've just done is you're creating a community of advocates you don't know. They're just people that have used your service or your product. And so now, and that's really what business advocacy or branding advocacy, marketing advocacy, however, there's a lot of different terms for it, but that's really the idea behind it. And as you, you know, when you start with your passion or something that you love, hopefully you're in a business or you're working in a place that you love with something that you feel strongly about, with something that you enjoy doing. And, you know, it's not a drudging 9-to-5 workday kind of thing.
Right.
But when you feel that passion for what you're doing, it's really easy to get out and just say, hey, guess what? Grammar. Woo! I'm a copywriter. Get those commas and periods and semicolons in the right place. Woo! You know?
Yeah, but here's what you have to remember.
Yeah.
Believe in what you're asking for. So whenever I have a question, who do I send my copyright stuff to? I send it to you.
Right.
You've become an expert in your field. You know where to put the comma and where to put the prepositional phrase and all of those different kind of things. I'm pretty good at it, but I'm not that great at it. You also know how to describe things better than I do sometimes also. So I automatically come to you as an expert. I had somebody approach me last night and they're like, oh my gosh, you know, I'm trying to write this paper for this brief for my graduate school. And I just came to you because I knew you could help me.
Right.
And I think that's the most important thing is that once you become an expert in your field and people know that you care about them, advocacy is easy.
Yeah.
Advocacy is easy because that people know that I will help them no matter what to be able to pursue their musical education journey.
Yeah.
You have to have the self-confidence. You have to believe in what you're asking for. You have to believe in what you're doing. But really, I think it comes down to, like, I know that every time I ask you, Anna, to review something, you're going to do it. You're going to be like, yeah, I'll totally do that for you.
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest part of advocacy is people knowing that you actually care about what you're advocating for.
Yeah.
Being an expert in your field, but also knowing that you actually care about the people that you're advocating for and to.
Right.
Yeah. And that's all comes, and if we translate over that to the business world, it's really all about that whole customer service and personalizing an experience for your clients as they're coming in so that they feel valued, right? Yeah. I mean, that really is so important. Right. And that is all part of advocacy, just completely generally. I mean, if you're passionate about something, but nobody can feel your love for that topic, they're not gonna buy into whatever it is you're advocating for.
Well, as I was walking into the store today, this lady, one of the teachers that we love, she was walking out, and we'd let her borrow a bow because she's pursuing Baroque music, and it wasn't the correct bow for what she was supposed to be using, and that's fine. And she said, "I feel like I should pay you. I feel like you let me borrow this. This is so great. Thank you so much. I just feel so bad it didn't work out." And I said to her, no, really, this is what we do. We want you to be able to be successful. And if it doesn't work out, we're okay with that. And she just didn't look at me and she was like, I already knew that about you guys. I knew that about you guys. And thank you. And that speaks volumes.
Yeah. That
speaks volumes to people because she knew to come and ask us, first of all. And even if it didn't work out, we're like, we still love you.
Right.
Like, good. But, we want to make sure your musical journey is successful.
Yeah.
Whatever journey you are in your business, if you own a bakery or if you own a restaurant or whatever it is, make sure that those people know that you care about them.
Right.
Make sure that they know what you're passionate about. I'm passionate about croissants or whatever it is.
Yes.
I make the best croissant for you.
Yeah. I am passionate about croissants. I have to be
very passionate about croissants.
A good croissant is worth its weight in gold. I'm just going to put it out there.
That's what I'm saying. So a good croissant is worth its weight in gold, as is a good musical or a fellow or whatever, or a good lesson even.
Yeah.
A good customer experience is worth its weight in gold. It speaks volumes and it will make people come back to you over and over and over again.
Right.
So this is, I have to say, this is awesome because it really leads directly into our very next question that we have for you. Selena, do you want to pop that one up for us? All right, so here we have basically our Seuss quote. Don't give up. I believe in you all. A person's a person, no matter how small. I mean, can you just hear the little thing in the Horton?
Yeah.
The Who,
We are here.
Oh, I love him. I love Dr. Seuss. Okay. So Jenna, here's our question for you. You know, what would you say to someone that feels defeated and they aren't making a difference, you know, when they're trying to be advocates? You know, what is your cheerleader like?
No, I think if you're trying at all, you are making a difference.
Yeah.
Even if you make the difference in yourself, even if you build that little tiny bit of self-confidence in yourself by standing in front of a group of people, the Chamber of Commerce, the school board, the whatever it is, and you say, look, I really believe in this. And I may not be able to be the best, I may not be the most eloquent speaker, but I believe in this. And just having taken that step, you've made a difference. You made a difference in your life. You made a difference in someone else's life because you tried to share your passion.
Yeah.
I think that sometimes we are harder on ourselves. Like before, when we were talking before, I'm like, I'm totally fine with standing up in 7,000 people talking on Capitol Hill, but like talking to you guys, like two of my BFFs and my sister, like I'm a little nervous today, which is so dumb because I could talk about music education until the cows come home. Yeah. But it's funny how like just getting out of your comfort zone just a tiny bit, even if you just educate yourself. Like I remember when like I was talking about ESSA, Title I, all of those things that they threw at me, that first NAM fly-in that I went to, I was like, okay, I can't do this. And now I'm like talking about Title I as if I'm like the boss of Title I. You know what I mean? Like I know what I'm talking about because I educated myself.
Yeah.
Even if you feel like I can't do this, I literally can't make a croissant.
Right.
Well, the first time you make a croissant, it may be horrible. You know, the 15th time you make your croissant, it may not turn out great. But eventually you're going to know how to make a croissant.
Yeah.
And it may not be the best croissant that has ever been made. It may not be the best effort that you've ever made as an advocate, but you've progressed. And I think more importantly than anything, if you've progressed and you show people that you've progressed and that you still have that passion, they're going to see it. They're going to feel that passion. They really are going to feel that passion. If you look into a room and you're like, music education, they're going to be like, okay, we got it. Right. I have to tell you this great story. When we sat at every single school board meeting in 2016, when the fourth grade strings were on the chopping block again, every single school board meeting, I was in the front row with a couple of my friends. And at the end, when they finally voted to not cut the fourth grade strings, we had almost every school board member like, they came up to us personally because they knew when that redhead sat in that front row, I was not going to take it. I was going to sit there until I was going to stare them down. I believed in music education. I believed in those fourth grade strings. I believed in the education for those children. And they were like, don't mess with that redhead. Don't mess with her. You know what I mean? Yeah. I didn't have to say a word. I just had to be there. I had to be present. You know, sometimes just being present in the situation, being present when you're, you know, at the Chamber of Commerce or at the business meeting or whatever it is, if you're just there to either educate yourself or express your feelings or concerns or whatever it is, that is advocating. That is how you show people that you really care about what you're talking about.
Right.
There's two things that you said during this conversation that I think are really super important. One is that as you're going through this journey, to not forget that your personal growth is a huge part of this process. And so even if you don't feel like the people around you or the community is changing from the acts that you're taking, if you're changing, that is a success. You know, your growth is a success. And the second one that I pulled from that is that sometimes just showing up, not saying a word, but being there in support of whatever this, you know, your passion is, and just being there, even if you don't know how to say what you need to say, and you don't understand what Title I is, and you're get stage fright and can't open your mouth, you know, because there's a huge audience in front of you, or whatever the case might be. Just showing up is sometimes enough to make a difference. You know, because it shows the support level. You know, so if 1,000 people just show up, that makes a difference. Like that can impact, right?
Right.
So yeah, I loved that.
And I think it goes back to what Jenna said earlier, right? If you are passionate about it, like let that steer you so you don't derail yourself, right? Is just like you said, music advocacy is so important. Jenna's like, I'm gonna walk in there with my red hair and I'm gonna make sure they know I'm here. You know what I mean? Yeah. So yeah.
Music advocacy is so easy too, because you're talking about kids. I mean, you're talking about kids' lives and how important it is for kids.
Right.
One of the things I love about the DC Strings is that we bring music to kids in areas that would otherwise not be able to have them. We bring music lessons to children who can't afford them. Children, that's why the instruments in the attic thing is so important. We have instruments for people who can't afford them. We literally give them to people to be able to have music. And so finding other like stay in your lane always,
right.
But other avenues that you can take, like charitable organizations or grant writing or other things like that can fuel your passion. Like take a class on how to make croissants. You know what I mean? Like definitely, you can definitely take classes, glean from other people who know much better than you. I cannot tell you how many people I'm like typing to my friends, okay, I have this question. What can you do? We call it #Namily. It's my family. It's my music family that I can always go to for a question or a business question about how to run this music business, how to do the computer programs, how to, what would you do in this kind of a sale, or what's the best instrument for this? We don't deal with band instruments. And so if I have a band question, there are like several people that I immediately call and ask them about in band instruments. And they will automatically let me know what the best band instrument, and they'll take the time necessary to help me.
Right. Yeah. I like the idea that even if it's not something you're an expert in, even just supporting the people that are the experts, like that too is a form of advocacy. Yeah. Where, your money or your time or your energy, volunteering, like doing that for the people that are the experts in whatever the topic might be really is also a huge part of that. So, okay. Yeah. So, all right. So Jenna, we do have a final thought. We're going to pull up our little final thought. And this last little thought for me, just to say, it really is talking about how when you make a choice about something that's important to you, you've got this huge adventure, this great challenge in front of you, like these mountains to climb and sunsets to see and sunrises to see and things to do. So our Dr. Seuss final thought was, you're off to great places. Today is your day. Your mountain is waiting, so get on your way. So just kind of as this final thought, what would you leave our viewing audience with in terms of being an advocate?
So with this quote, it's an awesome quote, because one of the things that I love to talk about with my kids especially is, in your journey in life, most of the time it's up. Most of the time you're climbing the mountain. You're having to work really hard to get to where you want to go. But a lot of times you can stand on the plateaus and rest for a few minutes and look at the view and look at the sunset or the sunrise or the beautiful view that's down below you, and you can see how far you've gone. And then don't stay there. Don't hang out on your plateau forever. Start climbing again. Start doing more things. Start educating yourself in other ways, or go to a new meeting that you've never been to. Like go to Capitol Hill, or go to the Chamber of Commerce, or go to your school board, or go to your boss for the first time, or whatever it may be, and start climbing that mountain again. Because eventually you're going to get to another plateau where you can kind of rest a little bit and take a breath and look at the view and look at the sunrise and sunset and be like, oh my gosh, look how far I've come. Look how far I've come. And I think that's the most important thing. And like Dr. Seuss is amazing, because he's like, you got this, man. You got, like, make a rhyme from it. You got this. You can go. You can climb the mountain. And today's your day. Like, let's get started. And I think that's the other thing for being an advocate. Don't wait. Like, you can do small things every single day. You can go on a 1 mile hike, or you can go on the 20-mile hike. Whatever you're capable of doing, you just need to go and do it. And then stand on the plateau and rest for a few minutes and gather your thoughts and look at the view, and then start climbing up the mountain again. Because by the time you get up to the top, man, the view is amazing. The view is awesome.
Right.
That's such a good way to look at that, right? Like that wasn't even something Selena and I discussed when we talked about that that quote in particular. And I'm like, yeah, take a breather on your plateau, then keep climbing. Like, I didn't even think about it in terms of that. I thought about it in terms of like the whole journey, but really it's those bits and pieces we've talked about today. The doing it for yourself, the speaking up when you can, the finding your passion, all those individual details that really makes that mountain climbable.
Yeah.
Well, and sometimes you have to stop on the plateau to see where you've come and how much farther you have to go.
Yeah.
You just keep climbing and keep your head, your head's down. You're just climbing. Sometimes you miss the greatest views of all.
Yeah.
Sometimes you miss the most important things of all on your journey. And that is when you turn around and look and be like, holy cow, look at that view. Look what I have accomplished.
I just got like little goosebumps. I'm imagined like turning around, and I imagined this like these hordes of children all over the world that are just offered this opportunity for music.
You're going to make me cry.
We're not crying today. No, but that's the importance of it. No, don't do it. You're good. You're good. Do it. Hold on. But
if she cries, I'm crying. If I'm crying, you're all crying.
Look, your mother is like, love those stop that going into thoughts.
Yes.
But here's what I'm going to tell you what I loved about that. On top of that, though, Jenna, I'm going to give you both a moment. In business, right? Is what you said, like, because we're constantly climbing that mountain for our business, that we do forget to pause and look at how far we've come, because we're so busy like, oh, I haven't even reached there yet, that you don't celebrate those little like wins of how far you really climbed. Like, whoa, that was like a rock climbing moment like 10 mountains ago, and I didn't even acknowledge it, And so I think that's so important. It's important. And I think that's with advocacy though. It's like, your business, hopefully you go into something that you love, right? And then to have an extension of your business to be able to advocate for something even bigger, because your business gave you the platform to really help you push, for a greater picture, right? And so I love what you just said about that. And that's where I'm going with the whole up the mountain, looking down. So, hey guys, I'm going to just say this. Look, stop today for Jenna and put in your comment and just share what you've accomplished so far, today, right? Like, just put it in there. Tell us where you've been, and that, what? Wow, I've come somewhere. You know what I mean? So,
Or take the time to stop on your plateau.
Yes.
Just take the time to stop on your plateau today, because some of us feel, especially with what's been happening in the world the last little while, especially with small businesses, I feel like the daily grind. I posted something on my Facebook page today that like, you can either throw in the towel or you can wipe the sweat off your face. And I feel like a lot of small businesses right now are just literally just grinding, just trying to stay open. And I think that if you stop and say, wait, look, what are we doing really well?
Yeah.
What are we doing really well, and what can we do better? Like, one of the things that we've talked about with our business is we're going to do the exact same things that we've been doing really well with just a little bit of a different perspective. Once again, going up the mountain, taking a stop on that plateau and looking out and having a different perspective on what's really important with your business, your life, your passions, how to make your business better. It makes a huge difference when you just stop and really look at the perspective and look at the bigger picture.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Agree.
Yeah. So amazing conversation today. We could go on forever, but we are now at 48 minutes. So we're going to move into the struggle bus. Jenna, this is where Selena and I ask you if there's something that our expertise could lend to you. Is there a question that you have for us that we could help you with in what you're trying to accomplish?
I think one of my biggest struggles that I have is like, that you've actually been teaching me as we've been talking and working together is telling my story. And I hope you've seen on my posts and some other things like that I've tried really hard to start telling my story a little bit better. I think sometimes we feel vulnerable and like putting it out there. Like the picture that I posted this morning was me sweating like after I'd worked out, and I was like, I look disgusting. But this saying, like, you can either throw in the towel or wipe your face with the sweat. So how do I kind of keep that momentum going with like telling my story? Where do I start with my story? Those kind of things. I think that's a really hard thing to kind of open yourself up a little bit with your story, Because once again, like you guys talked about last week with your self-help and self-care, and maybe I do suffer from depression or something else that I don't want a lot of people to know yet or ever. How do you kind of go about doing that in a positive way, in a business building way, without seeming, I don't even know what the word is.
Yeah.
So I would say, from my perspective, one of the tips that I would say is there are tiny moments that happen each day that you can pull out where you don't have to divulge your emotional history, your familial history, whatever it is that's in your background that's shaped you into what you are. But that one little tiny moment, like I'm walking through the grocery store and you see something that just makes you stop. Yeah. You can turn that into a story for your life.
Very true.
That shares a message, I guess, And so don't feel like when you're telling your story, really what it's about is connecting with people. And this, let's tie it right back to advocacy. You're trying to connect with your clients. You're trying to connect with your audience. So telling that story is just you trying to make that connection. And it does not have to be your most deepest, darkest inner thoughts and feelings and secrets for it to make that connection. Right. It can be something as simple as, which this is funny. I did see your Facebook post this morning and I thought, whoo, she looks fierce. She has been working hard today. Right. And you're like, I look disgusting. And I'm thinking, that's not what I took from that image. I took, she's working hard and I should probably go run on the treadmill for a minute. I took from that image, right? But you managed to make a connection with me in a couple of different ways. Without having to, without saying, and that's the other thing, do not ever degrade yourself in your post. Don't say, I look disgusting, but you don't. Yeah. If you say that, then that's where you're leading people to make a connection, right? So lead them in that positive.
Very good advice.
Yeah.
And I'll throw my perspective in. And so I like to say, like, when you're connecting on the reel, especially as a business, right? Because you don't want all the posts to just be about like, so, right? And I always like to use this, like, go to the water cooler, right, moment. And when you go, you're not divulging like all the things that happened when you went home to cook dinner. But what is the water cooler conversation about today? Okay, everybody's talking about this show that came on. Okay, can you contribute to it? You know what I mean? And that's your real life. And that's you coming in and saying, yes, oh my gosh, like the balloons that flew 1,000 miles, that's your contribution, right? Whatever the contribution, but you're giving your share about it. Or while that was happening, I was doing this, but it's just so you can be part of the conversation. And I'll give an example. Many moons ago when I was at Planet Hollywood, I worked so much and all I did was just about the business that I didn't listen to the news. Not that that's not a great thing now, but I didn't read the paper. I did not know, because back in the 90s, social media wasn't this big, right? So, but I realized, like, when I would come to the water cooler conversations amongst us, I couldn't contribute. So for me, it's this, I always keep it real and share your, today, when I saw your post, it's funny. My perspective was like, yeah, I can totally relate. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, for me, I was like, yes, I feel the way she does. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and so it's interesting. Everybody will look at the post, Jenna, and come back with a different perspective.
Well, but that's what I'm saying. I learned that from you guys to tell my story. And so I've been trying really hard to get out of my comfort zone and tell my story a little bit. But like, both of your perspectives have been so good, because just a piece of the day can turn into a great teaching moment. Like, you don't have to have teaching moments all day long. Just as 10 minutes during the day or 30 seconds can be a teaching moment.
Yeah.
And bringing what you have to the water cooler area, here it's called.
Yeah.
Is so critical.
Yeah.
So critical.
Right.
To be able to converse with the world and converse with what's going on, and to be able to relate to people, and then also have that empathy and the connectiveness with them. Yeah. So,
and it's not just about just you, right? You're saying, hey, this is what everybody else is talking about, and this is how I'm envisioning it, or whichever. But
right.
Thank you, Jenna.
Yeah, right.
I know. I'm like,
no, thank you guys.
That was a really good question, because I think it's relatable to everyone. And it's also, I'm just going to tie it right back into advocacy, right? When you're advocating for something, sometimes it's that small daily thing or the trending topic of the day, and you being able to share just one small thing that you have experienced.
Right.
Can be that connecting force to make somebody say, oh, I get it now. I get why this is so important. I understand now. I want to be part of this picture, you know, and whether it's advocating for your business or advocating for a social injustice or whatever it is that your passion leads you to, like that, the struggle bus question you just asked us ties directly into making that work, you know? So, okay. Whew. All right. So we're going to ask, here's our call to action one more time, just in case you guys missed it. Let us know what you're passionate about. What level have you incorporated that into your business? If you have it all, like we want to know what your passions are. Tag us with your favorite nonprofit. Tag us with the social movement that you are working on today. Tag us with your business advocacy stuff and just show us. We want to see. And remember, I'm going to be checking this hashtag this week. hashtag 15ish MCC. So sure everyone can type that in. I promise.
Super easy.
Yes. Oh, and guess what? So this is hysterical. So Jenna, every week I forget to ask this question, and Selena and I specifically like made the box bigger on our little on our thing, and it's like in giant bold letters, and I still bypassed it, went on to something else.
Very passionate about this. When she gets into the segue part, it's really funny, but
every week I forget this. Every week. Jenna, can you tell us where we can find you?
So it's Day Violins LLC.
Oh, that's right. Yep.
Instagram is Day Violins LLC also.
Oh, awesome.
But also, if you want to email me for music education, I have a musicedmommy@gmail.
Oh.
musicedmommy@gmail. That's what I do a lot of my advocacy stuff for.
Okay.
But you can also find us on our website, which will be a new website pretty soon. Day Violins.
Right.
Yeah, it's gonna be amazing. You think it was good before? We have rested for small moments on the plateau before hiking up that hill, and wait till you see the view. I am super excited about that. So, but yeah, and if you like any questions about music or music education or anything else like that, please contact me. Contact me via Anna and Selena, whatever. Any music question you have, I will totally answer the question. I will do whatever I can. I'm actually on Twitter as Music Ed Mommy on Twitter, although I'm not super active on Twitter.
Yeah. But you're everywhere.
You can pretty much find me at every fly-in for NAM and virtual school board meetings, but I'm, anything having to do with music education, I try and be there. Try and be present, try and be on hiking up the mountain with the rest of the world.
Do you sleep ever? Do you sleep?
Yes, I go to bed every night at 9:00.
Wow.
Ask my husband. 9:00 at night, but I wake up really early in the morning too, so I get a lot done early in the morning.
Yeah,
so my daughter for sure.
I'm going to kind of put Jenna on the spot here, but Jenna, next season we might have you on as a second-time guest because we really wanted to also hear about your DC Gourmet Club, which is so cool.
Yeah,
this is like so cool.
This was the original reason when we were compiling our guest list, like way back when. Before I'd met Jenna, this is how I knew of Jenna. Is she plans these amazing with this group of
12. There's 12 women. There's 12 women.
Yeah, they host these gourmet separately, and I'm not saying just come over and they're going to sit down at dinner, but from the beginning, the invitations to the what you're wearing and how the decor looks.
Awesome. Yeah. And you know what? It started with a passion. It started with a passion for learning how to cook new food. There's a couple rules. One is that you can't use any kind of canned anything. And two, you have to be able to you have to be able to cook, you have to cook the food. And it is turned into one of the most amazing women that I probably wouldn't have normally associated with, conversations I probably would have not normally had in the circle of friends that I am around most of the time for whatever reason. I absolutely love the Gourmet Club. It has completely changed my life, and it has given me a greater appreciation for the fine things that you can do for 12 people. You can do anything for 12 people. You can do anything.
Wait, real fast. I come from the restaurant industry, and I wrote a blog post a while back, but food really is like music.
Yes.
It brings all types of people together that normally wouldn't be in the same room. And, being a restaurant manager and having to like taking guests, I musicians, football coaches for the local universities, Congress people, but such a wide variety, math teachers. I even great friends that are like, they are Star Wars trooper, like official people in Hawaii. Like that's not a group of people that I normally would find in my own circle, right? So like yours, that's what I love about food, is that it can bring a lot of different people together that normally wouldn't be together.
Yes. And that's the same with music. It's exactly the same with music. Food and music are two very powerful ways to bring people together, for sure.
So now I want to just go sit on my couch and eat something delicious and listen to my favorite song at this point.
Yes.
So listen, one more time, so today was all about finding that thing that stirs your soul, right? We just one more time, put it into your comments, make a post about it, tag us in it with our new 15-ish MCC hashtag. But we're kind of wrapping up. I want to tell you this is really good because our next week's guest has found something that really stirs his soul that he's very passionate about. So next week we're going to have Ted Fauster on with Truly Fearless Life, and Ted works with he's a personal branding specialist for the chronically ill and disabled. So and how they can brand their business and build their business despite some of the setbacks that they may have due to their illness or disability. So I'm super excited about having him on next week. He's going to be our next week's guest. And I thought that just fits so well into the whole advocacy thing, and then moving into next week we're going to just kind of have like this building up of like really doing what you love. So we're excited to
self-care to advocacy to building your brand. This is awesome.
No, I mean, Jenna, like, thank you so much for like taking the time, because I know when you're busy. So thank you for taking 15-ish minutes out of your day.
Yes.
To kind of join Anna and I, because I think, like I said, I hope, from today, like people really get, if you feel that passion kind of inside of you, act on it, right? And see again, and come back here, ask Jenna a question. Hey, how do you be, what are, she'll answer it. She has, I don't know how she finds it, but she'll find time. She will.
If you see it, put our hashtag in it, because if I see it, I will make sure that Jenna gets tagged in it and answers your question for you. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, because I mean, FYI, remember, I mean, me and Anna, and when we talk about, we're also male spouse advocates. We know we advocate for our male spouse community, because I think it's just it's not looked at as a serious community that can provide value. And in reality, there are so many amazing, smart military spouses. It's just because we move, but they're so brilliant. And it's a community that I overlooked myself when I was not a mil spouse. So we advocate for that. You know what I mean? So,
and I appreciate that, because where I live in Northern Virginia area, we have a lot of mil spouses. In fact, my father and my father-in-law were both military, career military. And so I do appreciate the fact that you guys are advocating for those families and those individuals a lot. So thank you for that. And thank you all for your service, all you military people.
Yeah. And anyone that's listening, if you have a child getting ready to do 4th grade strings, they Violins will ship you a violin.
Yeah.
They've got amazing customer service, and they do virtual lessons.
And don't let money be the issue.
Yes.
Come to me. If you can't afford an instrument, come to me and ask me. I will make sure your child gets an instrument.
Yeah.
And figure out.
I love that.
Come to me.
Everybody, can we I'm going to solo, I'm just going to solo your face here real fast. Do you see all these amazing background? Like, that's not fake. That is legit their shop. So,
yes. I love it. I love those hangers. Anyway, it's amazing.
Okay,
and I'm so proud of myself. I only cried one time about the kids.
I know. That was your fault. And
it was my fault. I'm sorry. It's just that you just made such an impact when you're like, you just stop and you turn around and you survey the view, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm just picking all these. Anyway,
it's so powerful. It's so powerful, and they're so worth it. The kids are so worth it. That's the thing. They're so worth it. They're so worth it. And the teachers and everybody, parents, you guys are all worth it. You're all worth it.
No, absolutely. Well, Jenna, thank you.
Thank you, Jenna.
So today we'll catch you in the backstage or whichever. But thank you, everybody.
Goodbye to all of our guests. Thank you so much for watching today. We really appreciate it. We'll see you next week on Monday with Ted Fauster. All right.
I look forward to it.
Bye.